Minnesota Timberwolves, after trading Julius Randle, they fill his spot on the roster with Lamelo Ball, acquiring Lamelo Ball and Josh Green in a deal for Naz Reid, 2033 unprotected first-round pick, and pick swaps in 2028, 29, and 2030 and 3 second-rounders. So Lamelo Ball, the healthiest he's been throughout his career was last season. 20.1 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 7.1 assists, 1.2 steals, 3.38 threes a game, and 40% from the field. So Lamelo Ball, like I said, him and Canupo last season, top 2 3-point shooters in the league in threes made. I know Lamelo Ball took a lot of threes, but he still shot 37% from the field. We know he could put the ball in the basket pretty easily, and a solid passer as well, averaging anywhere from 7 to 8 assists. But now, besides Rudy Gobert, they've lost a lot of size is this Timberwolves team, where teams like the Spurs and obviously the OKC Thunder have a lot of size and height advantages over this Minnesota Timberwolves team. So in terms of fantasy basketball, Lamelo Ball, he's someone in that 3rd or 4th round range I would still take. Obviously, Anthony Edwards is still the number 1 easily option on this offense for this Timberwolves team. But this is a dangerous backcourt, because if both these guys are on fire at the same time, they could blow a lot of teams out on the air, and the size isn't going to matter as much, obviously, then for this Timberwolves team if both these players go out there and put up a lot of points. So like I said, Lamelo, he's going to get his opportunities. Julius Randle had good numbers with the Timberwolves for the last couple seasons, but they wanted to move on and think Lamelo Ball is an upgrade. And also, they re-signed Ayo Damusu to a nice contract. Josh Green, they acquired in the deal as well, where he pretty much was a throw-in in the deal was Green, where last season, the small role he had for the Hornets, 4.3 points a game, 1.8 rebounds, a 3, and 45% from the field. So the surprising thing is, after the Hornets made a nice run into the play-in last season, and then they traded Lamelo Ball, they're probably thinking he's never healthy. Last season was the only year he was really healthy, and he has an extension coming up in a couple years. So they figured we trade him now while his value's up there, and that's what they did. And now to Naz Reid. Naz Reid, he re-signed to a nice contract last season with this Minnesota Timberwolves team, and now gets traded to the Hornets, where he's going to step into the starting lineup most likely. And Naz Reid was a 6th man of the year a couple years ago. Last season, 13.6 points a game, 6.2 rebounds, 2.2 assists, a steal, a block, 2.1 threes, and 45% from the field. So a very consistent scorer. He's a 4 or 5 category player easily in fantasy basketball as Naz Reid. And like I said, now he's going to have the ball in his hands more, and he's going to play more minutes for the Charlotte Hornet team, where their number 1 option, obviously, in Ball is gone, but they still got solid players. Canupo, like I said, Brandon Miller, if he stays healthy, he's a solid player. Bridges, if they keep him on the roster. Charlotte, they're building something, and now they had the big man where they needed size in this lineup, where pretty much Diabate was the only solid big man for them last season for this Hornet team. So in terms of fantasy basketball, Naz Reid, I could see him going 6th, 7th round this season in your fantasy drafts. Like I said, he's a guy that could score the basketball, could hit the 3 ball, decent rebounder, and a steal, a block a game he was averaging as well, where he easily could do 4 or 5 categories, like I said. So it's a good trade for both teams. Minnesota, they wanted more of a dynamic scorer, even though it was trading Randle and trading Naz Reid to get Lamelo on the roster. And Charlotte, they figured they're comfortable with their guards and re-signing Kobe White as well. So they figured they add size to the lineup, and that's what they do with Naz Reid. So Lamelo Ball traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and it's a little surprising at 24 years old, a young player who still hasn't hit his prime, obviously, traded off. And like I said, the Hornets, they're comfortable at the guard position and figured Naz Reid could help them enter in the 2026-27 season.